Is what you're doing on an everyday basis fueling you or leaving you in a puddle of despair? I'm tired and I don't want to do it anymore. Would you like to shift this? Well, in this conversation, I am going to talk with somebody and discuss the signs that what you may be doing is out of alignment with you and how to get yourself on track with just simple questions. My name is Leslie Urbis. I'm a registered dietitian and a personal trainer, and of course, a recovering selfless overachiever myself, fully, wholly embracing herself as we speak. And as you know, on this channel, we really embrace breaking through the lies that we were taught that we have to follow and uncovering the truth that is there for us to start following. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you my guest, Dr. Ashley Olivine. Ashley, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Hello, thank you. I am a health psychologist. I focus on 10 areas of living well. 3 of them are doubles, so you can call it 7 or 10. Those are relationships, physical movement, nutrition, environment, relaxation and sleep, brain and energy, and purpose and beliefs. And I'm really passionate about helping women and mothers to live in their passions and their life purpose so that they can really contribute in a way that is aligned with them.
I love this. I love this. I truthfully do. So it really stands out in my mind. Obviously, I'm a woman and a mother. So duh, that's kind of why it stands out. But I know that at some point in my life, I definitely felt very much against who I truthfully was and more like forcing. And that's always when I was checking the boxes for other people, right? Kind of even when I got into the middle of my business. So if I were to think about my business in the past, few years and like the middle piece of it, I started to do what everybody else was telling me I had to do in order to make my business thrive. And it started to really drain me, right? It was against who I was. So I'm curious, if I am, like, let's say I'm stuck in the middle of this, right? And I'm really just not sure. I'm actually probably Googling, like, is my thyroid low? Am I not getting enough sleep? Maybe I have these weird things, right? All these things that women start to Google and thinking that we have these when it's truthfully something else. What would be some signs or symptoms or things that I might be saying if I'm in this pattern of being against, filling my cup up instead of not?
Yeah, so I'm glad you said the what you may be saying, because that's exactly it. It's about the thoughts that are going through your head. That's a huge part of it, and there's more. So we're looking at those classic burnout symptoms like sleep issues. Are you getting enough sleep? Yes, but that is one of the symptoms. It's not always the cause. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we are lying in bed awake and we have those 8 hours carved out, maybe, but laying down and that stress is taking over. It can show up in digestive issues. It can be skin rashes or acne. It can be just feeling ick, feeling run down, having thoughts of, I'm not good enough. I'm not happy. This isn't working. Snapping at the people around us, grumpy, waking up with instead of ooh. It's those little things, but those are all the symptoms. We want to dig deeper into what's happening underneath. And I'm a big believer that we all experience stressful life events, but it's how we respond to those stressful life events that makes a difference. We all have circumstances, and then we get to choose what we do with those circumstances.
I love that. So it's resonating in my brain. Just because I've never had a hard time sleeping. Like, I'm a really lucky person in that aspect. But my biggest signs that I was really out of alignment was just in the middle of the day tiredness, like just
Mm-hmm.
exhaustion. Like, why am I still doing this? So I always point that out because I agree that,
Yeah.
those things are there, but it can be like the middle of the day and you're just tired. Like, I think
Yeah.
back, there were multiple times when I worked at the Naval Hospital that I would literally go to my boss's office and be like, my next patient canceled. I'm literally closing my door. I have to lay my head down for 10 minutes or I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Right. I almost fell asleep while educating a patient once.
Yeah, it's that fatigue, that feeling of being drained physically, emotionally, mentally, and just the eyelids shutting without control. And some that you reminded me, some other symptoms that could pop up are those buffering symptoms of doom scrolling social media, trying to see what we can
Yes.
release with those emotions, or binge watching Netflix, or so many, filling the shopping cart up online, with all that stuff that you don't actually need. But if you hit that buy button, you get that dopamine hit, you get that little rush of adrenaline. Going to the fridge when you're not actually hungry, but you open the door and you're like, what's tasty in here? Or you're sitting there at your desk when you should be responding to emails, and you're like, I cannot respond to this email. So you just open one email, close it, open the next, and then you go to the fridge and have a snack. So productivity tanks.
Yeah, totally. So if I were, witnessing these signals or noticing it, what would be some good things to kind of help me reframe or kind of push me out of it?
Yeah, so just ask questions. If your thoughts, first of all, build awareness. What is your brain saying? What are those words going through your brain all day long? Is it like, ugh, I feel stuck. I don't like this. I don't want to do this. This sucks. So that's the first step, is like build that awareness, and then ask it questions. Because if you give it statements, it's going to find evidence to prove those statements. But if you say, okay, this sucks. I'm not saying lie to your brain. This is kind of one of those mindset misunderstandings, is people are saying, oh, just flip it to happy thoughts. So if you're thinking, oh, this sucks, and then you flip it to, oh, this is great. No, your brain's not going to believe that. Your brain needs to either have a bridge thought, some type of a transition to realize, oh, no, this actually isn't so bad, or it needs to figure it out itself. So if your brain's giving you stuff like, I hate my job, or I don't want to change one more diaper for the rest of my life, then you have to think, okay, how can I make this better? What can I do to make my day better? And then your brain will start to come up with ideas of what you can do to make your day better. What can I do to solve this problem? I've got this job that I don't like. What can I do about that? How can I make this current job or this current role something that I do enjoy? Or how can I shift to something different? What would I like more than this? And then your brain will start exploring and kind of researching on its own.
I love that. And the two things I really want to say is like, I love how you call it doom scrolling. To be
Mm.
honest, I feel like Instagram at one point targeted me at moments in my day when I would need that. So I was talking earlier on a podcast that I was on about how if you notice, marketing is kind of two ways right now. There's either the person who's presenting to you this like upper thing. Like, I don't know if you follow, gosh, I don't know. I think she calls herself reparenting yourself or parenting yourself, maybe something like that. She's wonderful. I will tag her below just because I brought her up. And she's really cool. But she talks to you about how you're parenting yourself, right? While you're
Hmm.
parenting your kids. And
Yeah.
that's like the biggest thing, right? So you start to notice it and all the things. And one of the things she says is like, you should say this to yourself. You should speak this to yourself, right? And so as you were saying that, like I was joking one day that I feel like Instagram targets me. It was in the past of certain times that there would be this place where it would give me the negative, right? Like give me the reason, like if you're not doing this, or if your kid's older than 3 or 5, like you've missed the window. It like gives me
Mm,
the negative piece of like Instagram is giving me the doom piece instead of
yeah.
the positive piece. And then with the shopping, like totally, like people don't really notice that, like I'm gonna do this to put in my, link kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
so my big question for you here is, if somebody were noticing these things and having this go on in their life, what would you suggest be the first thing that they kind of do? Would it be to seek help, to answer some questions themselves, or kind of give advice from there.
I do think a lot of people would benefit from added support. I think in our society, we have this belief and these messages that in order to get support, it has to be for something that's wrong, either overcoming trauma or a mental health diagnosis or something like that. And so if you're thinking, oh, I don't have anxiety or depression, I'm not going to go seek help. Um, a lot of times that's, I don't want to say it's too late because it's not too late, but we want to be preventing that anxiety and depression before it gets there. So, yes, of course, if you're experiencing anxiety, depression, any type of mental health symptoms, definitely get help, but also don't wait for it to get to that point. If you're feeling that ick factor of I'm just not thriving, you can absolutely get support at that point so that it doesn't escalate out of control. That's like getting your mammogram and your colonoscopy. That's like going to your primary care every year just for that check-in, like, how am I doing? Why aren't we normalizing this? So yes, absolutely get support. Also, there are so many things you can do on your own. That first piece of building that awareness, try to notice when your nervous system is activated, when you're feeling on edge, when you're just not settled, calm, and feeling good. If you're feeling a little grumpy, if you wake up and you're like tight, like your shoulders are feeling tense, maybe you're getting headaches, maybe you're clenching. Those are signs that your nervous system is activated, and then find things that you can do to calm. And I like to think of these activities as portals to what you really need. So we talked about doom scrolling and emotional eating and retail therapy, things like that. Then there's the other side of it where that's kind of suppressing emotions. And you don't want to fill your schedule with activities like taking a bath and a walk so that you have to check those boxes of, oh, look, I did the self-care, because you're not looking for more boxes to check. You don't need anything else on your to-do list. But if taking a walk helps you to process your emotions and calm your nervous system, absolutely go for it. If you're feeling on edge, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling activated in any way, and you can step back and you can take a deep breath and you can check in with your body and your mind, and you can say, okay, what am I feeling right now? What am I needing? Sometimes it just takes a few seconds to sit in a chair and let those emotions wash over you. Let those thoughts be heard. So a lot of people hear this negative thought, a thought that they deem as being negative because society tells us that those are negative thoughts. Those are not negative thoughts. Those are thoughts telling us something. There's a purpose for those thoughts. So if that thought comes in and says, I hate this, I am having a terrible day. Okay, just let that thought be heard. You can even talk to your thoughts. You might feel crazy at first, but you can totally talk to your thoughts. You can say, okay, thought, I'm having a terrible day. What's going on? And you just let that thought be heard. You can rant inside your brain. Maybe sadness comes in. That's another thing with emotions where society deems them as negative. Anger is supposed to be negative. Sadness is supposed to be negative. No, no, no. These are just normal parts of being human. They are human emotions, and they're there for a reason. So that sadness comes in, and just sit and take a moment to feel sad. If it helps you to move your body and take a walk while you're doing it, if sitting in the bath while you're doing it makes you feel comfortable, if you want to wrap yourself in a blanket to feel more secure, yes, absolutely, you can do that. Also, it's not necessary. You don't need to do all those textbook self-care things in order to feel your emotions and process your thoughts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's exactly what I really teach in the digestion codes, that, selfless overachieving isn't really there, but we do it all with nutrition, right? My kid can't have that food diet. Oh my God, they ate too much sugar, blah, 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 right? It's like the to-do list just never ends, whether you're talking about, burnout, or you're talking about, am I in the wrong profession? And, I really love what you'd said there about the emotion is normal. And something I always try to tell people is that we were just taught they weren't normal, because most
Mhm.
of us that are in our 30s and 40s, our parents, when we were acting out, they would send us to a room when we had the big emotion, right?
And say,
Go
"Don't
to
cry."
gap, sit in your corner, don't cry. There's no reason for that. So we never knew that those emotions were okay. And now, as this is something that I allow my child to do. Like, I really
Yeah.
allow them to do it. And it's like, sometimes you're like, I cannot believe I'm letting my kid through this huge temper tantrum, because you're in your head, like, I would never be able to do this,
Yeah.
like, you're like, so like, that's why I really think it's called parenting yourself. But she teaches you how to parent while you parent your kids. And it's actually really cool. But I love this because I think it's something that people don't really think about, that emotions are normal and they're supposed
Yeah.
to be here, and
Yeah.
that it doesn't make you a good or a bad person. So I'd love to leave it there, obviously. But if somebody thought this conversation was awesome and they'd really like to find you, what's the best way for them to find you, look you up, and see what else you teach on your 7 or 10 steps, depending?
Yeah, I am Ashley Olivine everywhere. So I'm the only Ashley Olivine. So I'm pretty easy to find. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. My Facebook business page and Instagram business page is Olivine Wellness. I have a podcast called Live Magically that I'm between seasons right now, but by the time this goes live, I may have brought back a new season. So there are episodes up there now anyway. So you can start binging that. And just reach out to me. I'm accessible. I want to make sure that everyone gets the support that they need. I don't want anyone to feel like they are alone. So if you find me on whatever platform works best for you, send me a message and I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah. So all of those links will be put below this in the recording. And of course, if you comment on this as well, I will gladly reach back out and send them to you personally. So I hope you're having a fit and fabulous day. Again, remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and we will see you the next time. Bye for now.